Hi, it's Jamie with Jamie's Arts a la Cartes. Thank you very much for joining me. I have a fun project planned for us today. I hope this video inspires you to create something of your own. If you would, hit the like button and share the video with your friends. That helps me to grow this channel and to continue to bring you new projects. If you haven't subscribed yet, would you please consider subscribing? And if you have, thank you very much. Well, we have a lot to do, so let's get to it. Hi, it's Jamie with Jamie's Arts a la Cartes. I have a fun project for us today. I'm trying something completely different. I made a couple stockings for some very special young men. So I decided to go with a camo kind of look. And I used the very favorite granny square kind of technique. So this is what they look like. And I wanted to show you how I got there. All right, we have a lot to do. Let's get to it. So I brought you in close because I want to start out by showing you, you may have not ever made a granny square. So I wanted to show you how to do that. So I have just 3 different basic colors, and I use different colors throughout these stockings. And what I'm going to do is just sort of interchange everything along the way. But this is how we start a granny square. So we just have that little slip knot, and we're going to chain 7. Okay, then we're going to go back into that very first chain, and we're going to pull that yarn all the way through that chain as well as that number 7. Gives us a little circle. Then I'm going to chain 3. And now I'm going to start making doubles. This is super, super simple. And I do try to tuck my tail as I go. It helps with trim out at the very end. So a double is where you just go over, go through, catch it, and here's where I think the double name comes in. 1, 2. So you're going to wind around once, go through the circle, catch it in the back, pull it forward, and just 1, 2, and then you're going to do 1 chain, and we're just going to work around. We're going to make 4 sets of those. Chain 1. So now that gives us a 1, 2, 3, 4 sets of 3. So now I'm going to go in that second stitch, that second loop over here. I'm going to push the needle through, grab it from the back, pull it through that one and through that chain that I just created after my 4 set of 3s. And then you have something that looks like this. And then I'm just going to basically pull that thread through. Find my scissors, and so I'm going to pull it through, pull it tight, and look at there. We've got our first row, which happens to be the center circle. So then I'm going to go ahead and tuck this tail, and I'm just going through the back side of all those stitches. Just weave it down and then stretch it back out. And there you have it. So now for that second row, I'm going to use a different color because again, I'm going for that G.I. Joe look, right? Camo. Again, I always start that very beginning with that little slip stitch, slip knot. All right, so I'm going to not start where I start and began before. I just happen to like going over to a different section and starting. I just think it lays flatter. Get us some yarn so we can get this going. So I'm going to come up. I'm going to chain 3. And now I'm going to go and catch and do the exact same stitch. So there's 3 pieces there, but I'm going to go 1, 2. I'm going to do it again. And now I'm going to chain. So I'm going to do 3 doubles and a chain. And it's just that same pattern over and over. All right, so here we go. All right, there's our first corner, 2 sets of 3. And I chained 1. So now I'm going to skip over 3 stitches and I'm going to find where I did the chain between my sets of 3 here on that circle, and that's where my next set will go. This is what's going to create the square. All right, there's the third one and the chain. So there's our 4th corner. So there's our little square. Now to join this, I'm just going to, like I did on the circle, I'm going to come up to that 3rd little stitch, go through, catch it, pull it to the front, pull it to the 2nd little loop there, through, cut it off, and then pull that through. And there is your square. Again, I'm going to hide this little tail. I'm just wiggling through, feeling with my fingers so that I stay on the back side of those stitches. And I'm just going to pull it and wiggle it through. There you go. There it is. All right, now for that last row, it's going to be this again, but now we're going to put 3s in those little chains, and that's what expands it to the granny square. So I started with that little slip knot again. Again, I'm not going to start and stop where I began the first time, and you can tell by the chains right there. That's where you'll be able to see that. So I'm just going to take it, and I'm going to start over here. If you want to start one over, I would start on a corner. That makes it a little easier. But other than that, placement doesn't terribly matter. So 1, 2, 3 chains. Now we're going to start our doubles. Get myself some yarn. All right, there is the last double. There's our first corner. A little harder to see with the black. Sorry, but I needed it for camo. So we have 1, 2, 3, a chain, 1, 2, 3, and a chain. And we're just going to do that all. There's 3 and a chain. So now, just like we did on the other rows, we're just going to come up, find where we're going to set it, push it through, grab that yarn, pull it through there, pull it through the chain, and then do one more, and then we're going to cut it. Pull it through, pull it tight. So now I'm just tucking that tail in. And then I don't really block, right? Some crocheters block their work. I don't block. I just stretch it, right? And then it becomes this sweet little granny square. Look at that. All right, so now what I did is I created that pattern. So I figured out how many of these squares did I need to create my stocking. So the next thing we'll do is we will crochet a bunch of these squares, right? Then we'll get our final pattern, we'll sew it together, and then I'll show you how I did this cute little fringe. All right, we got a lot to do. Let's get to it. we have our squares all made, so now it's time to start putting them all together. And that is easy to do, so I just wanted to show you. So what I'll do is I'm going to do the top and then I'll do the bottom, right? So basically I wanted to make sure that this dark one was like on the heel, right? So this one will probably trade out for another one from the other stocking, right? Maybe something like that, or this one. There we go. I'm trying to keep super dark right here. Like I might even trade that one out. And that one, so I'm going to look for, well, we'll deal with that when we come to it. So there we go. I want that just to sort of resemble the heel. And then I've got a little thing, I've got an idea of how I'm going to actually do this over here. Alright, so I got you way in close just so that you can see. So basically I'm going to put two right sides together, and again, the way I know that they're the right side are these lines, right? So right sides together, and I'm going to make sure that where I had that chain one, right, that's how I can make sure I stay on the same track, right, from one square to the other, so I keep the alignment correct. So again, just that little slip knot. I've got a plastic little needle, just sort of bends and works well with these. Whatever big eye needle you have would work. See the big eye, so it can go with this thread. So again, I'm going to find my chain, and I'm just going to go through just the one loop there on the top, and I'll show you why. It'll be easy to see once I get the first one done. I'm going to tighten this knot. Right, get my needle through, and then we'll tighten it. Alright, so now I am going to just do a whip stitch through the top two, so it's basically just half of that stitch. So see, I'm catching that tail right there. That way, just weave it in and it's a done deal. Okay. Just keep on going. I'm putting my fingers from the front to the back. That just helps me to stay on track, keep my alignment right, and that will help ultimately make all the rows look straight. That's my second one. So here I am. I'm right here. Sorry that this is black on black. It's kind of how this design turned out. So when I get to this middle one, right, I'm just going to do a simple little knot. And I'm not going to tuck these in just yet. But what you see by catching just that half of that stitch, see what you have? It makes a little pattern right there. It's kind of cool. So it's actually like that. So now this one I will do here, and that will give me my 3 for that bottom row. So now we want to make sure we get that middle and that middle, so that chain stitch tells us where that's at. Okay, so now I'm going to even go in here. Now, this is where I have to decide. I've got this little tail right here. I think I could do this. Just a simple little block knot. Right? Just create a little knot here. That'll just reinforce those corners. Now we're going to try to weave both of those tails as we join the square. Right where those knots are, it gets real tight right in there. Find my two middles. I keep my alignment. Making progress. So I went ahead and determined, right, I had to create a design of what I wanted that top to look like. So I came up with this just fringe, but not too frou-frou-y kind of fringe, because these will be gifts for two special young men in our lives. So there you go. I need to create the little hanger loop yet, but that's kind of where we're at. So I want to catch you up to where I'm at. So basically I need to sew these two pieces together, and I'm going to do them wrong sides together, right? So the right side out. And what I did with that is I started by making sure all my little ends were tucked in. And just, you know, just something simple like this. Just take them and tuck the ends so that they won't, you know, come out and get caught on something. All right, so we'll just work our way around. Okay. Same thing with this one. It might be hard to see this black, but it looks really good in person actually. So again, I'm making these for two young men, so two little boys. Don't tell them I called them little boys, but they'll always be little boys to me. But anyways, so we're gonna, I didn't want it to be girly, right? I wanted it, I was thinking G.I. Joe kind of thing. So there we go. And there's just enough variegation on there that it gives it interest. And so all I did was take and do like a single stitch all the way around. And look, I got a tail right there. Boom, gone. Do I see any others? Nope. Just tuck them in, right? So, got our ball of yarn. And so now we're going to start at one side and just come all the way around. And then here at the top, I didn't do anything, right? So I just started creating these little fringe. So we can just start right here and work our way around. And I am going to, I'm trying to get just those two inner loops in there to just give me this little outline look. All right, so I want to begin with the black because it just sort of lays that foundation down for the little fringe, which is just a little fun little top, a little top trim kind of thing. So it's just a little fun aspect. But I want to do the black first because then what I'm going to do is put the green on top and then it stands out a little bit better. And so I did start on this one. I started at the back. That way I didn't bulk. If it got bulky, it wasn't here. Didn't seem to be an issue, but that is where I started. So I'm just going to go ahead and get my needle set. And there's really not a right or wrong way to do this because I'm just making loops. They're random. I'm not even counting. I'm like, oh, that looks long enough. Then I stop. That's part of the fun part of it, I think. And then I just make a loop to where I think, that looks good. And then I just come and I attach it, just using a single. And I've got my tails all there, but honestly it won't make a difference. So then I am going to go through both, just so that it gives it a little bit of a good base to hook onto. So again, I'm just going to do that. Give myself some yarn. Slip that through. Now this one I'm going to try to make either longer or shorter. And then just go back through it and catch it. All right, let's see. I think I did not do it on every one. So look, I did it like every 3 stitches or so. and that's what helped it not to get too bulky up there. That'll complete our project this time. Thank you so much for watching. I do appreciate it. I hope you liked it, and if you did, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. And well, until next time, happy crafting!